Okay, so I'm ready to run through this a second time, and I've asked Terry, say hi, Terry,
Hi.
to help me do a role play, kind of like I would expect you and your teammates to go through a role play as you're practicing this. So Terry knows that she is playing the role of a consultant, right, who's trying to help Johnny and his family make a decision about whether CU is a good place for him to come to play football, right? And not really sure exactly where the consultant's going to go with their questions or their meeting, but what I'm going to try to do is just get my pitch together, my foundation pitch together, and then hopefully be able to go on the fly, depending on where they want to go. All right. So I'm assuming that the question is going to be, tell me about your football program. How would you describe your football program to me, and what is it that I should be thinking about when it comes to Johnny playing football at CU? Okay?
Yep.
All right. So be conversational, try not to make it too stiff, and let's just see how we do. All right, great.
Okay.
So when I think about CU's football program, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we have been playing football here at the University of Colorado for about 125 years. Our first game was played here on this campus back in 1890, believe it or not. And, that's a lot of time to be playing football, and a lot of, great things happen along the way. And, you build a solid foundation, on which to continue to play and grow. And, today's players probably don't even realize that we've got that much history behind us. But just to kind of throw some interesting tidbits out there for you about our program, we had, I think, the first and maybe the only college football player to ever go on to be a justice on the United States Supreme Court. And his name was Whizzer White, and he played here during the 30s, and he was a phenomenal football player. But he was an even greater student. And he earned a Rhodes Scholarship, and from there, he became a lawyer, a judge, and then finally was appointed to the United States Supreme Court. And we're really proud, of the fact that Whizzer White played here and went on to be a member of the Supreme Court. Along the way, we continued to build our program, and all of that pretty much culminated with a national championship in 1990. And, maybe some of today's players were told about that or have seen it on highlight reels, but it was a great year. We had a great coach in Bill McCartney. We had some great players that were playing for us. They all came together at a time when the program was on the rebound, and they ended up winning a national championship. And from there we just continued to move forward, and that was followed by us winning a Heisman Trophy. Not us. That was followed in 1994 when Rashaan Salam won the Heisman Trophy. So that didn't flow very well, right? So I got to do that better. So we win the national championship in 1990, and we just continued to pour on. Still don't like that. I want to get from the national championship to Rashaan Salam. Okay, so
And you
we
might
followed
mention
that.
Byron White.
Huh?
Is it Byron White that was Whizzer White?
That was his
Byron.
nickname.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So we won the national championship in 1990, and then in 1994, one of our players won the Heisman Trophy. And so when you think about just those four things, the fact that we've been playing football for 125 years, we've got a guy that went on to be a justice on the United States Supreme Court, we won a national championship in 1990, and we had a Heisman Trophy winner in 1994. There's no school that I'm aware of that can boast those four things. So the reason that I mention that is that I think there's some comfort among our players in knowing that they've got that kind of a tradition, that kind of a legacy, that kind of support for them as they're playing for the Buffaloes. And there's some peace of mind that comes with that. There's also some pride that comes with that. There's a better quality experience that comes with that, which are all really, really beneficial to the players that come and play here. Okay? Now, along the way, we've been part of several different conferences. The one that most people associate us with is the Pac or the Big 12, which before that was the Big 10, the Big 8. And when we were in that conference, we had lots of great successes, but we never really felt like we were playing against schools that were like-minded, because we had a much higher emphasis placed on academics. And that all changed in 2011 when we joined the Pac-12 conference. And since then, it's just felt so much more right for us, because we are playing against schools that feature academics as an important part of their program. So we now play against Cal, and we play against Stanford, and we play against UCLA. And in addition to that, we have alumni living in the states where those schools are located. And we bring an awful lot of recruits in from those states. And so it just feels like it's a much better conference for us to play in the Pac-12. In addition to that, though, there are benefits that come to the players as a result of being in the Pac-12, because we are eligible to play for the national championship. We get lots of national television exposure, and we also get exposure to friends and family for the players. I didn't like that very well either. I got to make that better. So we want to talk about the value of the conference, but we need to point out the benefits to the player. Did you understand where I was going?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that needs to be improved. Okay. So from there, I want to go and talk about how we lost our way a little bit in the early 2000s. And the reason that we lost our way a little bit is because we fell behind in terms of the facilities that were available to our players. That all changed when we opened the Champion Center in 2011. And we now have a world-class training facility for not only our football players, but for all of our athletes. So it features an indoor practice facility where players can go when the weather isn't cooperating. Right? We have world-class medical facilities where they can go when they need medical attention. They have world-class training facilities available to them where they can go to get stronger and faster, right? And they have world-class rehab facilities they can go to when they're rehabilitating from an injury, if that should be the case. They also have areas, where they congregate. So we have a great locker room facility for them to change. So they have a world-class locker room facility. They have a community lounge. They have their dining room in this facility. And it's a place where they can all come together and be a community. And again, the reason that I mention this is because facilities are really important. The players are going to spend an awful lot of time there. And for those players that do want the comfort of knowing that they're going to be taken care of and that they're going to have sort of a home away from home, a family away from family, that's what the Champion Center means to us and our players. And as a result of opening the Champion Center, we're back on the winning track. We've got much better recruits coming in who are playing much better football, and we're winning again. We won the Pac-12 South Division last year, and we went to the Alamo Bowl. And we've also got great coaches now, in part because, we've got the facilities that they need to do the recruiting and win the football games. So last year we had the National Coach of the Year in McIntyre. And again, the reason I mention this is because players want to be coached, and they want to know that they're going to get better, and they want to know that they're going to, be very committed to winning football games. And that's what we now have with, the Champion Center giving us the recruits that we're looking for, being coached by the best coaches that are available. And so, those are the main points that I think of when I think about our football team. We got other stuff going on, like the uniforms. The players, love the different uniform combinations that we make available to them. And believe it or not, there's some fun in that. There's some quality of life in that. There's some excitement in that. They love the mascot Ralphie. They love taking the field, running behind Ralphie, arguably the nation's best college mascot. And you say, well, that doesn't really mean very much at all. Well, it kind of goes to the enjoyment of winning and the pride that comes along with running onto the field behind that kind of a mascot. So those are the things that come to mind when I think of CU football. So that took me 10 minutes. It felt like I was rushing. How did it sound to you?
Well, I wasn't interrupting with any questions, so I don't
Were you
know if
following it though? Like, did it sound like I was just rambling?
It sounded like you were going through a timeline.
And
Basically.
would you recommend a different approach?
I think
So the
you'd have to play
timeline-
off of the
Huh?
timeline is important because people need to know. But as for somebody that might not know a lot about football, those 4 things might not sound like a big achievement in 120 years. The Heisman
Yeah.
Trophy and
Okay. All right, good. I'll keep working on it, and we'll do it again. All right, thanks, Terry.
great. Thank you. Good luck.
Good night.